Well, hello there. Welcome to Boone. Actually, this is not Boone. I just say that because this is the city in Ozark, the TV show, where they filmed as Boone. Matter of fact, right over here is where they shot the scene where the inspector guy, the detective, came through and parked his little Mustang right there and went into the marshal's office. That's right here. You'll see it in just a second. So right here is where the blue Mustang show up. Matter of fact, I'll cut that scene in. Blue Mustang pulls up here. Guy goes in the office. This is a little Hollywood here. Right over here, this is the Dollar General, which is also where Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore had their little scene in Blended where he needed to buy the daughter some feminine stuff and got embarrassed. So this is just the setting where we're going to have our next episode of Graybeard Biker. Stay tuned. So, you've already seen episode 1 probably. The content of this episode is actually what should have gone in number 1. But as you know, I had to rant in number 1. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about what exactly spawned Graybeard Biker and what we're going to do on this YouTube channel. So I've been in the biker community for a number of years. And so I've been going to biker rallies for quite some time, among other activities with clubs and whatnot. So we were at a rally recently, and my wife was looking for some clothes that fit her personality. Couldn't really find anything. She was always calling herself, Biker Barbie. And Biker Barbie wasn't really a thing that you could find with the vendors there. There was lots of things that were, girl, there's Betty Boop, and there's all these other princess and gargoyles and stuff, but nothing was really her personality. So I thought to myself, I said, hey, we could actually start making these clothes and call it Biker Barbie. And so that's what we decided to do. I have a marketing agency, so I have a straight line into creative people and making things and whatnot. So we decided that we could really, launch this clothing line. While we were in the middle of it, she says, you should make one for men as well. You could call it Graybeard Biker. So the ideas from there spawned, and we now have 2 clothing lines, Biker Barbie and Graybeard Biker. So let's take a minute and talk about Graybeard Biker specifically. So what is the premise behind the brand for Graybeard Biker? Well, there's a lot of things that I've seen over the years at rallies with t-shirts and whatnot that are, tried and true. Not too much that was new, except for, Let's Go Brandon. Loved that. That was new. So I decided, I work in marketing. So again, we do a lot of creative, we do copy, we do that sort of things. So I thought, we can start writing t-shirts that are witty and creative and new, right? So kind of had something that I wanted to say, and fun place to do it is to put it on a t-shirt. So you'll see a lot of t-shirts and products at the Graybeard Biker online store that are different than what you can see other places. Now we have some that are, a different design of some of the more traditional things that you've seen. Some of them are actually traditions that have come and gone since I've been going throughout the biker community. But there's a lot of things that are new as well. There's a lot of things going on in our world right now that kind of make me irate. We have this, internal invasion of the left that's going on, and this, brainwashing of our society, and it's just a whole bunch of craziness. And so I figured, well, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about that in a way that is, witty, humorous sometimes, but no less true. So in that, you know, I've always hated the whole idea of political correctness, where you're saying this because you have to say this because it's what is good for other people. And then, I found this guy on TikTok actually that was doing a skit. He was talking about how everybody is offended all the time, which is, very much a new age sort of thing. And he was like, so what? You're offended. Nothing happens.
I was offended, and I have rights. Well, so what? Be offended. Nothing happens.
Right? And he's absolutely right. So that's kind of where the tagline came in. Kind of that I hate being politically correct and being offensive to people. So lifetime offender is the tagline for Graybeard Biker, which basically just says that you're going to get offended. Mr. Snowflake, Mr. Snowflake's going to get offended. And I'm okay with that because maybe it will make them think. And thinking is good for you. So, that's kind of the premise behind Graybeard Biker. That and a bunch of biker-related things, but there's going to be a lot of libertarian, don't tell me what to do sort of things going on as well. So if you like that sort of stuff, head on over to graybeardbiker.com and there'll be lots of stuff there. The other thing that's going on in this channel, I was at St. Pete Bike Fest last year, and I had an idea to start doing some things to my bike to start to customize it. So at that event, looking at the bike show and whatnot, I decided, hey, there's some things that I could do to really, add some pizzazz, some personality to the bike. Two things that we're doing. One is, of course, I'm kind of attached to the whole Willy thing. So we're changing some more parts out to be the Harley Davidson Willy series thing. The other is I decided to change the chrome to make it copper. So we're going to have half chrome, half copper. You heard me talk about this in episode 1 if you watched it. So that's kind of where the name Alchemy came for the bike. Wife's been on me, we need to name the bike something, Well, that birthed the name. Alchemy is the name of the bike. So in this web series, we're going to walk through my process of customizing the bike. As you know, I have a friend of mine from high school, works for Triumph. He is going to help me with this whole process of customizing the bike, taking everything off, putting everything back on, etc. With the two of us, I figure we can get it done much faster. Well, as you already know, it hasn't been very fast. But I will walk you through the process of what it is we did in case somebody else wants to do something like this. Now, to start with, I had the plan for what I was going to do. I'm a planner, right? So I think through everything that I wanted to do with the design of the bike. And I planned it through in Photoshop. So I went to Photoshop, and I took a picture of the bike, and I decided this piece I'm going to change, this piece I'm going to change, etc. And I literally, in Photoshop, made the parts that I wanted copper, and left the parts chrome. So I could really see what this was going to look like. Then I made a list using the parts catalog of what all these different parts were going to be. And I did that because rather than take them off, bike naked, half the equipment, half the parts gone off of the bike, take it to a powder coater to sit for a while, the bike being exposed in certain areas, I decided that what we would do is get all of these parts either new, because a lot of them were Willy parts that I didn't have, so those were going to be new, and then a lot of the other parts I would go ahead and get used. So I either got new parts or used parts from eBay so that I could then take everything to the powder coater at one time, get it all powder coated at once as opposed to doing it piecemeal, which a lot of people do. And then I could take a weekend, swap everything out, and it would be absolutely great. Get it all done in a weekend, back on the road, and we could take it to the rallies and be in bike shows and stuff like that. Well, I went through that entire process, and that's where the last episode came up, where I had to find a powder coater. So that catches you up to episode 1. So that is the premise of Graybeard Biker and Biker Barbie. A little bit about Biker Barbie. You want to know more about Biker Barbie, you're going to have to go over to my wife's YouTube channel to find out more about that. And like I said in the last episode, if you're wanting to do a project like mine, then I have all of these parts that I can then get powder coated for you, and you don't have to have the headache of everything that I just talked about me having to do. And then I'll sell it to you, and then you can put it on your bike. And you can literally watch this series and see me having to swap out all of the parts, because that's what we're going to be doing. Kind of an educational thing for people that are wanting to make customizations to their bike and seeing how it's done. So I've spent a lot of time on YouTube myself, so I thought I'd put all this together in one place for people. So anybody that has a 2015 Road King, that's what we're doing it on, or any touring bike that's in that same time period, should be able to watch, follow along just great. So if you are going to watch this YouTube channel, these are the things that you're going to see. You're going to see a walk through, the Project Alchemy as I'm customizing my bike. Hopefully, maybe you can learn a little something from that to use in your own bike, which is good. We're also going to be going to rallies and events and kind of letting people know what those are about. I know I always enjoy going on YouTube and trying to find me in these different videos. We'll interview people, talk to people while we're there, start to get to know people that are in the community, which is always a nice thing. And we'll also, of course, have these talks about things that are going on in the world and my thoughts on those. And of course, then we'll go through new products and that sort of thing, tips for whatever it is that I think might be useful. So if you enjoy that sort of stuff, subscribe, like, all that YouTube-y stuff, and we'll talk to you at the next video. Thanks.